Hi, A to C Talk family. This is your girl, Genevra Pearson with Advocate to Create, a licensed marriage and family therapist here in Hollywood, Florida. I wanted to say first, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020, everybody. I hope that your new year is starting off well. I hope that you are pouring into any goals that you've set, as well as spending some time on self. But I hope that we are more intentional walking into 2020 about who we are and the life that we want to live. So, of course, I want to jump into the new year and provide you with some different topics that we'll be addressing all year long. Some videos you'll see by me, some videos you'll see with Patricia Timmerman, our other licensed therapist here at the agency, and some potentially together, depending on our schedules. It's crazy here, but you will definitely get some good stuff. We would definitely want to make sure we check in with you and give you some additional tools to use when you're not in session with us, for those that attend therapy with us, and also for those that don't attend therapy somewhere, that you get a piece of what we cover in our sessions here without actually coming to our office. And so I hope that this video is very helpful for you. So, all that being said, so this month I want to focus on work-life balance. I think that January tends to be one of those months of the year where people go hard and they have so many ideas and so many things that they want to do. They're reflecting over their past year and they set so many goals, and so we end up doing anything and everything, and we're everywhere, and a lot of times we are not being intentional about what we're doing and being consistent with what we're doing. So this month we're going to tackle work-life balance. And so one of the things that I want to address today is going to be on time management. I literally said this to, I can't remember who I was talking to the other day, where I said to them, I really wish there was more than 24 hours in a day. I feel like between clients, between my personal time, between finishing up my doctoral degree, between spending time with family and friends, I feel like there is never enough time. I feel like if I just had 4 or 5 more hours, I could really get things done. And when I sat and thought about that after I said it, one of the things that came to mind for me was that no, I actually would 3 or 4 extra hours wouldn't be enough, because I would want more. There would always be more, because there's always a demand. There's always a sometimes expectation that we put on ourselves or others put on us, whether it's our jobs, our family, our friends, our culture, that puts onto us, that says you need more. And so I actually retracted that statement after I said it, and I said, you know what? I don't need more time. I need to be more efficient with the time that I actually have. So today, I wanted to kind of go through a couple of things, because I think that this is a topic that perhaps you've heard before, you've seen before, and I want to make sure that I give you some good stuff to help, some good tips or some steps that I think would be helpful to make sure that you're managing your time efficiently, especially when you have housework or chores to do at home, laundry, dishes, clean the bathroom. Maybe you have children and they have homework, or maybe some after school plays or stuff that they have to attend, science fairs, or maybe they play sports or instruments, so they have practices. Sometimes it's connected to our work needs us, and so many functions and different tasks that we have to do at work. Sometimes it's spending time with family, spending time with friends. Maybe you got a boo thing and y'all have want to try and find some date night, so you get creative about that. There's always something, right? So how do you keep up with that without going crazy? So I'm going to give you 3 tips to kind of help you manage work, life, and everything else that kind of comes your way, that I think will be really, really helpful for this new year. The first thing is to write things down. This is very essential for our busy folks out there. If you got your hands in work and kids and recreational stuff and family and personal stuff, after so much of that piles up, your head's everywhere and you're trying to be multitasking, you're doing 7 things at one time. I used to full disclosure here. I used to be on the phone talking to someone, or I Bluetooth them while I'm driving, right? Because you don't talk on the phone and drive. But I Bluetooth them while I'm driving, and then at stoplights, I would check my email or for work, or I'd answer a text from somebody, or I'd look something up, or I'd be on Facebook, or whatever the case may be. And then when the light turns green again, I'm back to driving again, but still talking. We manage so many things at one time. We're actually not doing one thing as often mindfully and being fully invested in that one thing, whether that is you eating a meal and just focus on chewing and eating and enjoying the textures and the smell of it without having the TV on or music on or something in the background, distracting you. Of course, if it's something that calms you, like music, that's great and all, but typically if you're watching TV and you're eating, you're typically not as mindfully eating because you are more invested in the actual television. So one of the things I tell folks to do is, when we got a lot of things going on at one time, the first thing is write it down, whether that is with an actual physical planner, whether that is with a calendar that you have hanging up on the wall, whether it's with your phone, there's a calendar in your phone, whether you're Team Android or you are have an iPhone, or any type of device for that matters, if you're electronic, to write it down and jot it down in your actual calendar on your device, or have a hard copy version of that. I know sometimes we lose those things. You have to have physical touch too, but 9 times out of 10 we typically have our devices with us. So writing things down so that you can remember where you need to be, what you need to be doing, and for how long you need to do it. The other piece is be realistic about that. So like, for example, if I'm going to say that today I'm going to do laundry today, right? For a lot of folks, doing laundry is inclusive at one time of separating the clothes, the colors, and the whites from the darks to the lights, and washing them, and then drying them, and hanging up ones, and then folding them, and then putting them away. That's a lot of different steps at one time, right? So, and laundry can take you a whole day if you're anything like me, and depending on the size of family that you have or how many folks you are doing laundry for, that can be like a whole day type of thing. And so I tell folks, be realistic about what the task that you're asking yourself to do and the actual time frame to do it, because if you're not able to complete the task, a lot of times we will get discouraged or we'll feel like we're not doing enough, especially comparative to other people. How is it they're able to balance 17 things at one time and I can't just get my laundry done all in one day? And so it's really cool. So Patricia came up, my business partner here, and another therapist, she came up with a cool activity that I now implement with our clients here, which is called Need versus Want. And for me, it helps. For my work with clients, it helps me to be able to help my clients understand that there's a lot of things that we think and we believe we need to do. There's a list of them. You can probably write a list of all the things you need to get done for that day, right? Now, whether or not you actually get everything done, that's something different. But there's a lot of times we have a lot of things that we need to do. Stuff that even is like so far-fetched. It's like nothing related to what we need right now. Maybe it's, I need to actually take my car to go get service, but you're not going to get it done within the next 24 hours. But we still put it all on the list because we are a firm believer that if we have the list, we'll know what we need to get done, and so we can always come back to it and kind of scratch things off, right, or mark things off. And so the needs versus want activity has a cool element. So in the activity, I'll ask individuals to list all of the needs, things that they need to do, their responsibilities, kind of those, or things that we don't want to do, but we kind of have to do, to write all of those down for the day, just for the day. And then write down, if we didn't have needs, what would be some of the wants, right? So an example of a need perhaps is, I need to wash the dishes. I need to read chapter 2 or 3 in my book because I have an exam coming up soon, so I want to stay on track, so I need to read chapters 2 and 3. It may be that I need to pay bills today. My wants may be that, okay, I want to be able to go to the gym. I want to be able to watch my show tonight. I haven't caught up on it. So I'm missing an episode or two. So I want to be able to watch an hour's worth of my show. So these are things that we want to do that sometimes doesn't always have the same weight as our needs. And so a lot of times we waver on the things that we want to do and we stick to all of the needs. And then we determine sometimes we don't even get to the wants because we're so pooped because we did so many needs. And sometimes we create this idea in our mind that if I finish all of these needs, then I'll be able to do a want. So something that Patricia created was that needs versus want, was that if you have all these needs and you have all these wants, that you, for every 5 needs that you need to get done, you insert a want. And what it does is it helps us to keep ourselves accountable. It gives us something to kind of look forward to, and it doesn't continue to delay that gratification that we ultimately want. Otherwise, we'll feel like we're just nothing but a moving, running robot, and we never get to enjoy any of the pleasures that we actually want to do because of so many things that we have to do, aka adulting. So I start off with clients with about 4 to 5 needs to every one. The goal is to get down to 1-to-1. For that every need you do, you insert a want after it. And what that does is help to balance out that feeling of responsibilities compared to enjoyment at the same time, right? But that sometimes takes some time. So I like to start at like 4 or 5 needs to every one, and then after about 2 or 3 weeks, assess that and see if we can jump down now to like maybe either 3 or 4 needs to then every one. And you keep doing that until you can get a really good hold on how self-disciplined you can be, so that you don't just do a want and never come back to a need. So you kind of have to figure out what your threshold is, and allow yourself the patience to figure that out. So needs versus want is a really good piece that our clients use here whenever they struggle with feeling like I'm so overwhelmed and I have so much to do and I feel like I'm not doing enough or I'm not enough, is that I kind of bring that back down to reality. It helps to check the guilt and shame sometimes that come with, because you hold yourself to not the expectation solely of something else. You now create yourself accountable to this list that is encompassing of perhaps of some of the other responsibilities and demands, but you now have full ownership of this, which helps you to manage your time a little bit differently and a lot better in a healthier way, if that makes sense. I tell folks all the time, your productivity is not equivalent to your worth. I'm going to say that again. Your productivity is not equivalent to your worth. We have to stop being slaves to our productivity and thinking that the more productive we are, the more valuable or more powerful or strong we are, because we're quick to look out and compare ourselves to everybody else. So, well, why can't Sarah do 17 things? She's a mom, she's a wife, she goes to the grocery store, then she goes work out, and then she comes home to cook dinner for everybody like from scratch, and I'm out here struggling with this hamburger helper, and I ain't made it to the gym yet. We have to stop comparing ourselves to other people, because 1, we don't know their system, and 2, we don't know what they are sacrificing in order to maintain that system. So back up off of them and realign your focus back on you and managing your time. We all have 24 hours in the day, depending on what our resources are, and what of it is the ability to be able to pick parts of it, and so that you have your responsibilities versus the part of it that is yours and yours alone to choose what you want to do with it. That is very individual, and so yours won't look like everyone else's. It's not meant to, because your life is not like everybody else's. Okay, so the first thing I tell folks is write it down so that you have a physical accountability, and it's not something that you're just holding up in here. Because if you're anything like me, after so long, this gets full, and if I didn't write it down, I ain't doing it. Okay, so that's the first thing. Write it down. The second thing is what I always advise people is to get support. Okay, a lot of times, and I've been reading a lot of blogs lately, and a lot of times people don't want to ask for support because they don't want to look weak. They don't want to look like they can't do it all, and it's something about the perceptions of everybody else, and that that completely just overrides, I guess, our ability to get our needs and wants met. And so we go without, or we struggle so that we can maintain face. And what I tell folks is that when it comes down to it, that you are only shortchanging yourself, and you're only harming yourself more, your overall mental, emotional, and physical space, and ability to take care of self, when you don't ask for assistance. So a lot of people say, well, I don't have help. My family don't help me. Or, every time I reach out to somebody, they never say, they always say they're busy, or they have something to do, or they do say they can do it, but then I can't count on them because they end up canceling at the last minute. That's why you have multiple aspects of support. So don't just put all of your eggs in one basket to one person. So don't just count on mama and them to take care of whatever, to help you and assist you. Have folks, accountability partner, or somebody with assistance at work. What about somebody at your school, if you're in school? Maybe a peer or a classmate. Find, maybe there is a friend, a family member outside of your immediate family member. I'm a big advocate for, let's look in the household first, because if I'm doing everything, and I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, and I'm getting groceries, and I'm paying bills, and I am chauffeuring, that's an issue for me, because there's many other bodies in my household. So I must hold them accountable as well, just like they are indirectly and sometimes directly holding me accountable for things. So kids are never too young to learn how to have responsibility, okay? Whether it is they're super young and they're like toddlers and they're learning how to put their blocks back up to where they were, their little Legos back up. Whether it is that they're a little bit older, maybe they're a little bit into the adolescent years, where they have a chore or they have a household responsibility that they're responsible for 2 to 3 days a week, and maybe rotating that amongst the other kids in the household, or maybe the roommates if you're living in a roommate situation, rotating responsibilities of the household, maybe that is with you and your partner. Maybe you've just overfunctioned and taken on responsibilities because you feel as though you excel in a certain area, such as paying bills, or the one over the finances of the household. If you got a whole boo, you should have a whole partner. And whether that is if y'all are married or y'all are cohabitating, perhaps, letting them manage some of the bills and getting accustomed to how you can best be a partnership and support each other in that area. Sometimes you got to get them coins out and you got to pay folks to get some things done. I don't do everything anymore. I used to be one that would go and take my car and I'd wash and scrub it with the hand, the drive up one, not the one where you drive up, you say boop, 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 and you pay your little money and you drive through and then it sits and not that one. No, I was pinching pennies. So I was out there scrubbing and washing and wiping, and I just to all to save $3. No ma'am, no sir. I have a budget now. So I will gladly go get my car detailed, or I will go and go through the actual wash one where you can sit in a car, and allow yourself to have the car get washed for you, and maybe you only have to vacuum, afterwards. So try to figure out how you can provide space for other people to assist you in that area and not it be all you. Some people have done these home meals where you pay your subscription and they send you X amount of meals a week or X amount of meals a month. That may be beneficial for some people, because if your time is short and limited, you may have to do that. It's a healthier choice opposed to going out and eat, because you can still pick your ingredients in your meals and it can be sent to you, and all you have to do is just do some basic cooking or warming up of things. Okay, so just some ideas of how get support in different ways. It doesn't always have to look like a person. Sometimes it can be in the actual activity of support, such as taking your car to get washed, and paying $5 more and budgeting for that and preparing for that, opposed to spending that an hour and a half scrubbing and vacuuming and cleaning, or saying, what, I'm going to cook 2 days a week and the other 3 days we're going to order from the chef place or wherever you order your subscriptions from, or let the people in the house help you cook if there's other folks in the house. You ain't gonna die You know, so as long as it's cooked, it may not be all that delicious, but you ain't dead yet. So give it a try and see how it goes. And my third and final point for time management, above, writing it down and getting support, is to make sure you carve out time for your passions. This is something that I myself have struggled with in regards to making time for me. I think I literally told my partner this, I think a couple of days ago, that we spend 7 hours on average or 8 hours sleeping. Then we go to a job that we maybe is our career, but we're spending anywhere from 8 to 12 hours doing that. Then you come home and you're having to spend maybe 2 to 3 other hours cooking and cleaning and taking care of somebody or taking care of something. And then you have maybe like 4 or 5 hours left in your day. So where are you spending your time? Are you spending your time on social media? Are you Snapchatting and IGing? Or are you spending your time on Facebook scrolling? Are you spending your time just watching Netflix video and just getting caught up on Love and Hip Hop? Miami season's about to come out. Shout out to Miami. Love and Hip Hop. What exactly are you spending your time on? And I'm not trying to knock nobody that's your kind of way of decompressing from the day. It's a self-care piece for you, where maybe video games or doing something like that is very soothing for you. I'm not knocking that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you got 5 hours left out of the day, just using that scenario that I just talked about. So how much of that do you need to compress, and how much of that do you understand that if you don't work on your passions, identifying them, what are your dreams, what makes you the thought of jumping out of bed every single day to do this, whether anybody shows up or not, the thing that is going to break and step on generational curses in regards to wealth and positivity and adventure, all of those things and more. If you spend more time doing other things and no time that's left at the end of the day of yours, then what you are is you are becoming a slave to your life. It's not your life anymore. You've gotten content. So whether that is spending time on focusing on travel, research some things, Google some things, being on social media is not a negative thing, but you got to be very careful of what you allow in your body, through your eyes, through your ears, through your mouth, what you allow for your body to take in, because that connects to your heart, that connects to your mind with your thoughts, and that can ultimately connects to your soul. So spend some time pouring into your passions. That is everything. Give yourself a decree now that you will give you 1 hour a day that will be spent on your passion. The thing that if no one pay you for, you gladly love and do it. Therapy was not the thing that I chose for my life. It wasn't the thing that was like, if you asked me as a little kid what I wanted to do as a little kid was I wanted to be a lawyer as a little kid. And then as a little kid, I grew up and I realized, nah, I don't like the people in the courtroom. They're scary people. And then it turned into I wanted to be a journalist. And then I realized I was doing a whole bunch of writing. That's not what I wanted to do either. But then I knew I loved design and I love homes. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a home interior. And had I went with my passions at that time without actually spending time on them, because I was just naming off stuff that people were asking me. And in the moment I had to think like, what do I want to do? Like, what makes me happy? And those were the things, because I didn't spend time actually researching them, maybe getting mentorship in some of them, shadowing people in some of them, seeing what the job market looked like where I was trying to live, the pay, what are some of the tasks, a business plan or a business vision, depending on what's your philosophy about the two. I didn't spend time doing that. So I was always floating and nothing was ever, tangible for me until I actually started, realizing like I love to talk, and I don't like to talk just to hear myself talk. I like to talk and knowing that anything that comes out of my mouth, I hope it helps breathe life into somebody else. And so that's where you have to spend some time on your passions, because as much as you may love your kids and they're your world and you've made them your world, your kids at some point are going to grow up and they're no longer going to be at your disposal. And then you're going to be sitting there looking like, because you've made them your world. Your husband or your your boyfriend, your boo thing, your wife, your girlfriend. They can't be your world as either, because they have their own individual world. And so the we in the partnership, or in the togetherness of the relationship, can't be the only thing that you pour into, because if we pour so much into the we and we don't focus on the eyes will suffer, and they will show themselves worthy of what they suffer from, because a lot of times it grows resentment and anger and a lot of negative emotionality that comes out of it. So I'm not saying that those that are not passionate about their families, or those that are not passionate about your friends, that you shouldn't spend time in those arenas. But if that's the thing that you want to do, then go a step further and think about a gift that can pour out of, or an idea that can pour out of that. Maybe it is, I want to spend as much time with my kids right now because they're as young as, they're young and they're not always going to be that. Okay, then do cooking times with them and come up with recipes, because you already love to cook anyway. You're out there baking and having a great time, so cook with them. So it's not just about them and you're spending time with them, but you love to cook. Regardless, you love to taste recipes and see how other people love them. Or maybe it is that you want to vlog or create a show where people are watching it online, like YouTube or something like that, where you have a different topic or something. So whatever it is, find your passion, pour into it, and allow your life to no longer belong to something else, but it belongs to you. Okay, I hope these have been helpful. I hope that these 3 tips is something that you can utilize. And like I tell my clients all the time, take what feels like you need it and you want it and it sounds good to you, and leave the rest. Okay, I really appreciate you, A to C Talk family. I'm excited to do more vlogs with you. Again, Happy New Year's from Advocate to Create in Hollywood. Until next time, with awareness comes action.